Today's topic is one that is very important because a great wardrobe does not happen without this. It is also near and dear to my heart because I have spent countless hours on retail sales floors helping women find pieces that they wanted to buy and wear. It is shopping. Shopping. If you are someone who loves shopping, you don't have any hang-ups about shopping, shopping is fun for you, you always find what you're looking for, it is a really blissful, amazing, energizing, exciting, inspiring experience to go shopping for clothing, then this video probably isn't for you. This video is for the many women out there who do not find shopping to be any of the things I just mentioned. It is rarely exhilarating or inspiring. It usually leaves you feeling deflated and defeated and overwhelmed and frustrated. And that is something that I hear on repeat, both from clients, from those of you who watch my YouTube channel, from people on Instagram, from friends and family, that maybe at some point back in, high school or college, when they just kind of went to the mall to hang out with their friends, they thought they loved shopping, or maybe they even did love shopping at that point. But as they have grown up and as their life has taken different turns and they have new responsibilities and maybe their body has changed or their budget has changed, shopping no longer holds really any allure or any interest. And in fact, I would say the majority of the women who I work with as clients, one of the first things they share when we have our consult call is that they don't like to shop, that shopping is a huge problem and a huge sticking area with regards to building a wardrobe that they actually love wearing. Today, I want to try to help that. I am someone, as I said, who grew up working in retail. I loved working in retail very much. I worked in retail up until about 2 years ago when I stopped working at Anthropologie. I have worked everywhere from the Limited to Neiman Marcus. I believe in the power of retail, and I know over the last few years, retail has changed enormously, and going into the mall now makes me kind of sad because it is not the mall experience that I grew up with and that I started my career in. And I understand that. And I know that online shopping has changed a lot of the way that we collect and accumulate clothing. I certainly thrift an enormous amount, so I know that resale shopping has changed the shopping environment. But I want to coach through some of the thoughts that I've heard on repeat over the years, so that if you're having any of those thoughts, you understand how you can begin to turn around your experience with shopping. Because honestly, if we aren't willing to go shopping for new pieces, our wardrobe is never going to get better. Hello, I'm Kristen from Kristen Kane Style. Welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you for tuning in. I am a style and mindset coach. I help women create wardrobes they love wearing, and I also come at the whole situation of style from a mindset angle. I do this work one-on-one with clients in person and online. Style Therapy is the name of the program. All the information is linked down below. The first place I'd like to start today is by asking you can pause the video and do it right now, or you can wait until later and get a blank piece of paper and a pen and write down your thoughts about shopping. When you think about shopping for clothing, what thoughts come up? Just thought download, brain dump, get it all out on paper, write down everything that comes up about shopping. It could be, the mall is too far away. I don't have any stores, clothing stores close to me that I like. It could be I never find a parking space. It could be I always get too hungry and I don't take snacks and then I'm miserable. I don't even know what stores to go in. I can't find what I'm looking for. The salespeople are always too pushy. All of the thoughts that are, or something positive might slip in there too. Like I really like this one store and I always feel good when I go in there. Write down all of the thoughts that you can think of that come up when you think about going shopping for clothing. Because usually the blanket thought is, I don't like to shop for clothing. There is a lot underneath that. There are probably years of circumstances and experiences that created that one blanket thought. So do a little bit of a thought download and get really clear on what are the thoughts that you think when it's time to shop. When you think about going to shop for something new for your wardrobe, what thoughts come up? And then the next thing that I would ask after you have written down all of the thoughts that come up when you think about going shopping for clothing, I would just really pause and get still and look at what you've written. Read those sentences, read those thoughts back to yourself and feel how it feels in your body. So when you read those negative thoughts, I can't ever find a parking spot. I don't even know what stores to go in. They never have anything that fits me. The people are always cranky. Everything's too expensive. The sales staff is pushy. I don't like the fitting room mirrors. When you think all of those thoughts, what feelings come into your body, and really get clear on the feelings. Spend some time on this and write those down also. I feel frustrated. I feel inferior. I feel depressed. I feel hopeless. I feel sad. I feel grumpy. I feel hungry. I feel tired. I feel deflated. Whatever the feelings are that come up in your body when you think about all of the thoughts that you've written down, when you reread those and actually think those thoughts, because our thoughts create our feelings. So get those two things attached. Get clear on the thoughts that you're thinking about shopping and the feelings that those thoughts create in your body. Because there's no question that it's happening. It's just usually we have done it so long that we have learned to ignore it. We have hated shopping for so many years that we're not really even sure what's happening in our body or what feelings are coming up. We just know that as soon as we think of having to shop for something, it becomes overwhelming or frustrating or difficult on some level. So I'm asking you to spend a little bit of time getting clear on what those thoughts are and what those feelings are. And once you're clear on the feelings, really give yourself a chance to feel them. Even if you set a timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, let your body really feel those feelings. Feel what it feels like to feel really frustrated when you go shopping. Pause and feel how that overwhelm feels in your body. Where do you feel it? Does your chest get tight? Does your heart start to beat faster? Do your palms get sweaty? How does that overwhelm at the mall show up? How does the sadness show up when you just can't find anything you really love? Where do you feel that? Does it feel heavy in your gut? Does it make your throat scratchy? Does it make your face red? Is there some shame attached because you can't ever find what you're looking for and you don't even know how to go about, fixing that? Feel the feelings, because our feelings are designed to keep us safe. Our feelings, those feelings of anger and frustration and worry and anxiety, they are there because our body and our brain want to keep us safe. And so if shopping feels unsafe and you don't feel like that's an environment where you can thrive, of course your body and your brain are trying to put the brakes on and not have you ever go shopping again, because it's not a pleasant experience. And your brain wants to keep you safe and your brain likes routine. So if you have told yourself for decades that you hate shopping, of course the thought of shopping for something new, even if it's for a special occasion like a child's wedding or a fabulous long-awaited trip or a really important date or an important event for work, it doesn't matter how much part of your body is excited about the event. The part of your body and your brain that has heard over and over again how much you hate shopping is putting the brakes on and making it in no way appealing to get in your car and drive to the mall and try to solve the problem, the style problem that you're having with regards to that event. So honor the feelings, feel the feelings, accept and thank your brain for keeping you safe. Thank you, brain, for honoring the fact that for decades I have said that I hate shopping. So of course you're trying to keep me safe by not having me like shopping now because nothing else has changed. That's what we're going to do. We're going to dig into it a little bit so that we can change what's happening in your brain with regards to keeping you safe from shopping. And the next thing I'd ask you to write down on your paper is, where did these thoughts and feelings come from? Like, where did this start? Did you go shopping with your mother as a kid and she hated shopping and she was very vocal about it and made it very clear? Or maybe she wasn't vocal about it, but you could just tell by her energy that it was not a pleasant experience for her. Maybe you got lost in a shopping mall one time as a kid and it was terrifying. So the idea of going into a big shopping mall is not something that brings up anything positive for you. Maybe you were raised in a family where there wasn't a lot of money and shopping for clothing was not something you did very often. It was usually hand-me-downs or resale. And when you went shopping, there was a lot of pressure for it to be exactly the right piece because there wasn't a lot of money to spend. And so you needed to make sure that that money was really well spent on something that would last a long time. And so you feel a lot of pressure when you shop. Maybe you always shopped with a best friend who is no longer your best friend anymore. So there's lots of emotion that comes up when you go to shop because you're sad and lonely because you don't have this shopping partner anymore. There are countless reasons why you might have the feelings and the thoughts that you have around shopping. And by examining those and peeling back the layers and getting curious about, why do I feel this way about shopping? By doing that, you can begin to gain the awareness that's necessary to change the thoughts and change the feelings and ultimately change the experience so that shopping can be at least tolerable, if not pleasant or amazing, because all of those are possible. The whole scale is possible. I've worked with women who absolutely abhor shopping and women who absolutely adore shopping. So any part of the scale is possible for you. We just need to examine what's going on so that we can see how we need to change it. I find that most often as you're doing this, kind of where did these thoughts and feelings about shopping emerge from? Where was that seed first planted? I find most often those limiting beliefs and those negative thoughts come from either some thoughts about your body, some thoughts about your budget, or some thoughts about your knowledge of shopping and clothing. Usually when I do this work with clients, one of those three areas comes kind of up to the surface the fastest and the strongest. That doesn't mean that they might not have issues in all three of those areas, but one usually is the strongest. So it could be that you really stress about money and you have a lot of limiting beliefs around abundance and you really struggle with a lack mentality. I speak to this because I know this. I have been there, and it is debilitating. It's all consuming, and it makes it very, very difficult to shop for clothing and have it be in any way enjoyable or satisfying or even fulfilling. And so whether it's budget, whether it's your body's changed, and now going shopping is just a miserable experience because you haven't reconciled the body that you have today and the size that you might be on the tag, and it's just a really uncomfortable, difficult process. It could be that you just really feel like no one ever taught you anything about style and you don't have any style self-trust. You're not sure which pieces to even try on. You feel like at 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80, you should have this figured out by now. You shouldn't be going into a department store or a specialty shop and asking for help from anyone because of course you should have this figured out. It's clothing and you're a woman, so you should know how to do this. And then the next step is learning to build self-trust around shopping. And like anything, it is a practice. We don't start out good at anything. And so the only way that we improve at things is by practice. And it is a muscle that we are training, and we can relearn and reshape whatever our shopping experience has been in the past, but we have to be intentional about it. We have to have awareness that there are some blocks or some areas of resistance, and then we have to be intentional and curious enough and committed enough to want to make the changes. So with regards to the thoughts, I'm just going to run through some thoughts that I have heard from clients over the years, and there are many more, but some of these might ring true. I don't like to shop. I walk in and through and out. I buy things and then I return them. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to buy. I'm never sure what I want. I'm not sure what the best styles or shapes are for me. I don't have any time to shop. I can't find things that fit my body. And all of those thoughts create a feeling. So I don't like to shop, maybe frustrated and avoidant. I walk in and through and out, don't find anything. Indifferent, anxious, overwhelmed. I buy and then I return because I'm not sure if I like them as much as I thought I did. Indecisive and confused. I don't know where to go. Hopeless and ignorant. I don't know what to buy. Foolish and ashamed. I never find what I want. Sad and disappointed. I'm not sure what the best styles are for me or where to find them. Inferior, confused, overwhelmed. I don't have any time to shop. Rushed, impatient, angry. I can't find things that I like that fit my body. Insecure, deflated, defeated. So if we look at those feelings, avoidant, frustrated, anxious, overwhelmed, ignorant, hopeless, foolish, disappointed, rushed, impatient, insecure, defeated, confused, inferior, ashamed. If we look at all of those feelings, if they lead to action, are not leading to a wardrobe we love. Like, who wants a wardrobe that makes you feel hopeless and frustrated and avoidant and indifferent and anxious and confused and indecisive and disappointed? Like, those are a mess of words, of feeling words. And so if that's what you're feeling as a result of the thoughts that you're thinking about shopping, it's no wonder that your wardrobe isn't supporting you and doesn't light you up and doesn't make you look and feel amazing when you get dressed. And if on any day you are looking and feeling pretty amazing, it's kind of a fluke. You really should be thanking, the universe for making anything come together out of all of those feelings that you would be taking action from to go shopping. I'm not going to suggest, because it does not work, that you go from the thought, I hate shopping, to the thought, I love shopping, because it's too far of a jump. There's not any way to get from there to here in one step. And so what works is to create a ladder thought or a bridge thought or a series of ladder or bridge thoughts, because you are literally building a bridge from an old way of thinking to a new way of thinking. And so that takes some kind of stepping stones or some planks, if you will, to kind of get you a nice stable ground to get you from the negative, unhelpful thought to a thought that would be a better thought to think about shopping. So of course you're not creating a wardrobe you love wearing if those are the feelings that you're having, because the feelings that you have create the action that you take. And so if you're feeling all of those things I just mentioned, then likely the action that you're taking is you don't shop, You buy in return, you complain, you shop without a plan, you don't solve the problem, you don't do anything to try to solve the problem, and you continue wearing a wardrobe you don't love. So you're not ending up with a result you want because the thought you're thinking is I hate shopping, and the way that thought makes you feel is all of those feelings that some of those feelings or a mix of those feelings that I mentioned. And so at this point, I would ask, again, you can do this on your paper, what would make you love shopping? What would you need to think in order to love shopping? It sounds kind of foolish and abstract, but if you can get a little bit clear on that, on what it would take for you to love shopping, we can start to build a bridge from the way you're thinking now to the way you would need to think to have shopping be an enjoyable, inspiring, exhilarating, fruitful, fabulous experience. So what would it take? Could be, I know what to buy. I know where to buy it. I have more time. I have more money. I like my body more. And then how would those things feel if you liked your body more and if you had more time and if you knew what to buy and if you knew where to buy it? You might feel eager and excited and inspired and confident and committed and optimistic and patient and abundant. It is really an equation. How we think creates our feelings, and we get to choose. We get to decide what we think. We have complete control over our brains, even though many, many times it feels like we don't. We actually can drop in a different thought, and it's fun. I find it fun to experiment with how a different thought actually makes us feel. So if you think the thought, I have all the time I need to go shopping, it creates a very different feeling than the thought, I never have enough time to shop. Because I never have enough time to shop makes you feel rushed and impatient and overwhelmed and frustrated. And I have all the time I need to shop makes you feel calm and hopeful and maybe inspired or peaceful, even just a little bit willing to try to go do the work because you know you have enough time. So the work is to create and think intentional thoughts, to begin to think thoughts that act as a bridge or a ladder. So if you're starting with thoughts that have been negative and not super helpful with wanting to go shopping, and you can't all of a sudden just decide, okay, now I love shopping, because your brain doesn't want to make that jump. Your brain's job is to keep you safe. So it says, well, wait a minute, for the last 20 years, you've hated shopping. So I'm not just going to automatically believe you when you think now one time, I love shopping. That doesn't work. If you can begin to bridge those two thoughts so that you're going from the really negative thought to ultimately a really positive thought, you need to kind of lay the groundwork and slowly build a bridge or a ladder, depending on which way you visually want to see it, and add rungs or add planks to make it a safe journey for your brain to go from the really negative thought to the really positive thought. So ultimately, you might want to get to a place where you can say, I love shopping. I find shopping for clothes super fun. I always find exactly what I need. Shopping doesn't take me any time at all. I know exactly the right pieces to buy and where to buy them. Whatever the ultimate thoughts would be for you, in order to get there, sometimes it's necessary to plug in sort of some words that create a little bit of safety. So for instance, you could say, it is possible that I could learn to love shopping. I am considering the possibility that shopping could be easy. I'm curious to see what happens if I take some time to shop for the pieces I need. It sounds, again, so foolish on some level. I understand that. But if you can add little bridge thoughts that will allow your brain to feel safe on the way from the negative thought to the positive thought, it makes such a difference. I am considering the possibility that shopping for clothing could be fun and easy. When you think that thought, how do you feel? I'm considering the possibility that shopping for clothing could be fun and easy. My guess is, and with the clients that I work with, usually that thought creates a much more positive feeling than hate shopping. And so you're moving towards the idea. I don't even care if you ever love shopping. It's not that that matters so much. It's just that hating shopping is not getting you the wardrobe you want. And so there needs to be a little bit of movement toward the I love shopping side of the scale in order to get you the result you want. So it is possible that I could actually find everything I need on this shopping trip. I am smart enough to figure this out. I can make shopping more fun. There are lots of bridge thoughts. I'm just giving you some examples. I want you to brainstorm and write down things that you can come up with that would add sort of that little stretch and allow your brain to have a little kind of toe in the water of, okay, this might not be so scary. She's only considering the possibility that shopping could be fun and easy. She hasn't decided shopping is fun and easy. She's just considering the possibility. We can go with that. Because from that place, you can be intrigued and you can be curious and you could even be a little inspired and a little excited to get in your car and drive to the mall and find a parking space and go in. Even if it still turns out to not be a shopping trip that finds you every piece that you're looking for your wardrobe, I guarantee it will feel better than the I hate shopping and the avoidance and the walking through and walking out and getting back to your car and feeling frustrated and not going home with anything. So it's about building kind of that muscle of trying something different and allowing your brain to adjust and feel safe in the new thoughts and the new feelings so that the new actions aren't as scary. And you can ultimately learn to be someone who likes to shop at least enough to get the pieces you need so that you're not feeling super frustrated with a closet that isn't supporting the life that you live. And I also want to mention after 20 years experience in the retail world, and that was even before there was really a strong online presence and that stores had changed in the way that they have today, the merchandise is out there. I promise you, the merchandise is out there. I have shopped with women of all shapes and sizes and ages and life circumstances and careers and budgets. And I promise you that there is clothing out there that will light you up. Clothing out there that you will wear and look amazing in and love and will be able to afford and will fit your body. You just have to be curious enough to do the work. And you just have to let go of the hating shopping enough to give it a try, because it gets easier as you go. Once you find 2 or 3 stores that usually have what you're looking for in the sizes that you like that fit your budget, you don't have to walk the entire mall again, because you now know you can buy those online. They can be delivered to your house in 4 days and you can return them for free if they don't work. You've created a system that works for what you need from the shopping experience. But when your thought is, I hate shopping, then nothing else fits into place and flows easily because you're putting up that resistance, and you probably have been for a lot of years. And so the result is not ever going to be a wardrobe you love wearing, because there's too much resistance and too much negative energy and negative feeling in the way. And that just doesn't produce the result that you want. And with regards to getting curious and being committed to doing the work, I want to mention that one of the things I hear from almost every woman I have ever worked with is, I would never have tried this on if it weren't for you. I would never have considered putting this on my body. I would never have even looked at this style or this color or this shape. So you need to be that for yourself. If you're not going to work with someone like me who's going to pull the thing off the rack that you might never have tried, you need to be curious enough to try it yourself, because part of shopping is that experimenting and that play and that, well, what if I try this? Who knows? I've never tried on a whatever it is. If you're not willing to make it an experiment, you might be leaving a lot of great things on the rack that could be solving your style struggles really quickly and easily just because you weren't willing to give it a try. I urge you to try on the pieces that catch your eye for some reason, but you're resistant, because those are often the pieces that are the winners. Clear winners, they're often those pieces. And then the other thing is Google. When I work with clients, I often help them find pieces that they've been looking for a long time. I promise you that I do not have some magic formula, nor do I have like a workroom full of elves who are finding those pieces for me or making those pieces for me. I have Google, and I sit down with intention and with no thought drama, no mind drama about not being able to find pants because I'm too petite, or not being able to find work suits to wear in warmer weather, or I don't have the limiting beliefs that my clients come in with because I'm separate from that. I'm not thinking those same thoughts. I don't have all of that weight that they're carrying around trying to shop and find the pieces and fill the holes. So when a client tells me, it's really hard to shop for pants, it's not really hard to shop for pants. Some women love to shop for pants, and they would much prefer to shop for pants than for tops. But we create this kind of resistance, and the evidence that we have over the years, we build up as this strong case that becomes, it is really hard to shop for pants. Well, when you think that, the feelings aren't really fabulous that follow it, frustrated and tired and exhausted and irritated and whatever, then it's not very fun to shop for pants. And you're not really working to solve the problem. When I Google for a client, I don't have any of that. I just think I need to find some pants for a petite woman. And so I start Googling who makes the best petite pants for women. And I can collect a list of a dozen or more locations where you can buy really amazing pants in petite at every price point, every size. It's not because I have some special tool. I have Google. We all have Google. Do the work. Get curious. The pieces are out there. Do not let a lifetime of I hate shopping be the reason that you do not have a wardrobe you love to wear right now. Because if you can get clear on what the thoughts are that you've been thinking about hating shopping and what feelings those thoughts create in your body, and you can Get clear on how that actually feels and what would feel better. What do you want to feel when you shop? That's another way to come at it. You can decide the feeling first. I want to feel happy. I want to feel excited. I want to feel eager. I want to feel inspired. Whatever the thoughts are that you need to think in order to feel those feelings, work it backwards. I want to feel happy when I go to the mall to shop. What needs to happen? What needs to happen? I need to go on a day when there aren't many people. I need to go with my daughter or my best friend because they love shopping and I'm going to feed off of that energy. I need to go when I have a full belly and I'm not too hungry and I have a bottle of water with me. I need to go when I have the right undergarments on. I need to go to stores where I feel like the people are helpful and the merchandise is in my budget. Whatever is going to make you feel happy when you shop, start that way. Decide on the feeling and then decide what you need to think. I need to think that I am going to find what I need today. I need to think that I'm going to find a woman who can help me in the store, who has great style, who can find exactly the right pieces. I need to believe that the pieces I find are going to be within my budget. It's no different than lots of my clients share. It's no different than going to the grocery store and believing you're going to find a parking spot. Shopping for clothing is no different than that. There has to be some positive momentum and some positive energy around it, or you're probably going to leave frustrated and without what you went in for. So similar to if you're a person who always gets a parking spot, similar to that energy of course I'm going to find a parking spot right up front. I always do. I only need one parking spot and it's going to be right where I need it. And so if that is the same energy, I only need one pair of pants and I'm going to find those today. If you go in with a different mindset and a different set of thoughts and a different set of feelings, the result is different. And as wild and woo-woo and impossible as it sounds, I know it. I know it from my work. I know it from my own life. I know it from working with clients and watching it happen for them. It's shifting the way we think about things and specifically the way we think about shopping, because we are never going to have a wardrobe we love if we're not willing to do a little bit of work on changing the thoughts and the beliefs and the feelings around shopping, so that we don't have to shop all the time. We don't have to go every weekend. We don't have to love it more than anything else, but we have to befriend it. We have to be curious enough about it to have it be a more positive experience than negative, because energy works that way. And if the only thing you are pouring into your relationship with shopping for clothing is negative energy and thoughts and feelings, that's what you're going to get more of. And if you can begin to shift that and build a bridge towards a place where the thoughts and feelings are more positive, you are going to find the pieces you want. And you are going to message me and write to me and say, oh my gosh, Kristen, I did this work. I wrote down the thoughts. I wrote down the feelings. I considered what I would need to feel in order to have shopping be positive. And I am now a shopping whiz. Every time I go shopping, I find exactly what I need. It's kind of, creepy and funny. My kids laugh at me and my best friend wants me to teach her how to do it. I know this because I see it happen with my clients and it has happened in my own life. See if you can change your thoughts and your feelings around shopping to something more positive. The energy will change and the experience will change. And ultimately, your wardrobe will change. And that's what it's all about, is getting the pieces that you need so that you can look and feel amazing when you get dressed. I hope that was helpful. I would love to hear more about how shopping feels for you and where your limiting beliefs might have come from. I love this stuff. It is just kind of my jam all around. And so I would love to have you comment below on, whatever comes up for you with regards to shopping and what kind of shopping energy you have and how you changed it, if it used to be negative and now it's positive, and anything and everything you want to tell me. I am very glad that you were here today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Style Therapy, if you are interested in working one-on-one and really getting into your own limiting beliefs around style and wardrobes and closets and all of the things, that is what I do. And we will not only edit and organize and create outfits and figure out the missing pieces in your wardrobe and find, the places where you can buy those pieces. We will also address the mindset stuff, because that resistance there is really more important than learning how to edit and organize your closet and build outfits. It all fits together in the end. I hope you have a really beautiful week, and I will see you next Friday. Thanks for being here.